Hakeem Jeffries had this phone call with Bernie Sanders. Sanders seemed not to care.
Hakeem Jeffries is tossing and turning, but he can't wake up from the nightmare. He's trying his hardest to stop the Democratic Socialists from taking over the party, or else we might mess up the plan and actually beat MAGA in the general elections. Then the moderates couldn't use their desperate electability argument that Bernie completely shot down.
And I asked Bernie Sanders about this. Are you making things harder for the Democrats to win back power in November?
But are you making it harder in some ways to win the majority? Say what happened in Maine.
No, I think in fact the candidates we are supporting are candidates who are representing working people, and I think it's long time overdue, for the Democratic Party to stop worrying about their wealthy campaign funders and start worrying about the needs of working people.
Was it a mistake in Maine? Was it a mistake in Maine?
I don't think people have really made the forceful case outside of his identity, to be honest with you. And I don't accept that. I don't accept...
Being Muslim?
Yeah.
Anthropic, OpenAI.
She's referring there, of course, to Abu al-Sayed about why she thinks that people have not made a case against him. But Sanders is totally unapologetic about his role.
He definitely is, and having covered and watched his political activity for some time, he and his people will make the argument, he kind of made it there too, that when it comes to the electability argument, he would argue that they are backing candidates who are electable because they speak to this really anger among the working class and this anger among voters about the fact that the system is not working for them.
The idea that the moderate centrists in the party who keep losing to Trump have any semblance of what is electable is completely hilarious. But to try that with Bernie Sanders, who is one of the most popular senators across both parties, even Republican voters favor him over moderates. So I'm not surprised by his reaction here. He seemed to not care. Representative Greg Meeks of New York, a Jeffries ally who was also on the call, said of Sanders, asked recently to describe the conversation, Jeffries would only say, "It was honest." Oof, you know that Hakeem is pissed off right now, just punching walls and kicking dirt. No amount of AIPAC funding is stopping this grassroots movement. And if Abdul wins against $50 million, then no amount ever will. So the next best thing that the moderates have are some backroom deals. And Bernie Sanders cut that off right at the bud. The truth is, Bernie knows that it's his time to strike. He's been waiting for decades for this kind of opening, and there's no way that some croaking from the center is changing any minds. They're definitely trying, though, with these dramatic exclamations as they leave the party, like Steve Cohen here, who says, "I foresaw it getting really nasty and anti-Semitism getting into it," even though Bernie Sanders is literally Jewish. "I just found it not the same caucus I joined in 2007. Yeah, you'd hope. Good riddance to this guy. If you were in Congress for that long and Trump is what you have to show for it, then we'll probably just be fine without you. And you know what? Take Van Jones along with you."
I am tired of a set of people on the very far left in the Democratic Party, my party, telling us that in order for us to be progressives, we now have to believe ideas and support ideas that are completely nuts. I am a progressive Democrat. In other words, everything that's good in our party, I believe in, have believed in for a long time. Do I want universal health care, Medicare for all, whatever you want to call it? Absolutely. If you are sick, you should be able to go see a doctor. That's a good idea. I want free education for everybody as long as they want to keep learning. I think that's a good idea. The Green New Deal, I'm the author of the Green New Deal. The Green New Deal is my phrase from my first book in 2008.
I don't think that this Trump-sucking charlatan has any room to talk about anything. Not only does he cozy up to the fascists in office whenever he can, but the only way he can make a living these days is by straight up lying. For example, he's not the inventor or the author of the Green New Deal. What did he say there, that he wrote it in his book in 2008? Well, here's a New York Times opinion piece by Thomas Friedman from 2007 where he writes, "We need a Green New Deal. All these moderate losers like Steve Cohen and Van Jones do is lie and then pretend to be your friend. The same way that they've been working on raising the minimum wage for so long that it needs to be raised again. That's why we need real fighters in Congress. We're not going to fall for these centrist tricks like Abdul El Sayed."
You and Mayor Mamdani disagree about how big this tent should be, whether there's room for it in the tent for Israel supporters.
Well, Jack, I'll tell you this. There's always room in the tent for folks. And I'm for human rights. I'm for equal rights to peace, dignity, and self-determination. Whatever you think about the right of Israel to exist, I wonder if they have a right to our tax dollars. And here's the thing about it. Every time I come on CNN, you guys ask me the same questions about these theoretical rights of existence or whether or not I agree with the mayor of New York. I'm running for Senate in Michigan. And in Michigan, people can't afford their basic needs. They don't get the health care they need and deserve. They're worried about the quality of their kids' school. And the question seemed less to be about the interests of Michiganders than the fact of something happening 6,000 miles away.
I wish every single left-wing candidate would talk to Jake Tapper like that. It is incredible to watch him squirm away. And that's how we know we're going to get a real fighter in Congress who isn't going to take the backroom deal. We need that because we're up against literal demons. Folks who want to steal from your pockets to pay for bombs they'll drop overseas. And when those monsters get dragged in front of Congress, I want to see more of what I saw from Rashida Tlaib.
Who do you work for? Director?
President of the United States.
No! You work for the people of the United States. You take an oath to the people of this country. You should be fired because you work for the people, not the president. None of us work for the president. Why do you think the agency was created? Because of the president? Congress created the agency because of the awful financial distress that had happened on our American people. You can blink your eyes all you want. Last year, Americans lost roughly $16 billion to fraud. 25% increase from 2024. On your watch. The highest level on record. On your watch. In fact, CFPB has received more consumer complaints in 14 months than in the first 14 years of its existence. Your watch.
The real fear that Democrats have isn't that Democratic Socialists will lose to MAGA, it's that we'll win. We all know by now that MAGA is a cult, but it's a cult that's been around since 2016. They've had plenty of time to do something by now. The institutional fecklessness doesn't stop Trump. It's clear at this point that they're refusing to do anything more. Meanwhile, MAGA is just getting more and more unhinged.
The pardon power has existed since our country's founding. You study constitutional law, and I think it's been abused probably by both parties.
Including Trump? Can you say Trump has abused his pardon power? Can you say that to us right now? You can't. You can't, right? You can't say it. I get it. It's your job.
I just
you
think
can't say it because you'll lose your job. But it's the truth.
Apex Shakur knows that he's fucked, straight up. If this momentum continues and the Democratic Socialist Caucus actually materializes, then Jeffries is going to be doing a lot more begging. Subscribe to U.S. Democratic Socialists. I'm Tony Hinderman, and I'll catch you.
Well, that fact speaks for itself. Like I said, change is a-coming. And if the politicians don't change, the voters are going to change it for them. And I'm going to say it's about darn time. And I laugh when these former CSC or Congressional Caucus progressive members claim to be progressives. We want the 2007 progressives back. Ask yourself, where has that gotten us? It's just so laughable. Anyways, though, that's all I want to show in this video. All right, just highlight that. All right, y'all. Have a great night. Goodbye.